on the same day that the White House released these Bush-era interrogation memos detailing how CIA officials used waterboarding and sleep deprivation to deal with detainees, President Obama said that CIA officials would not be prosecuted for those past actions. And the reason he said that they would not be subject to prosecution is, I'm quoting what he said, he says, the intelligence community in the United States must be provided with the confidence it needs to do its job. Now, the protection, however, would not extend to CIA agents or officials that acted outside the boundaries laid out by these Bush-era memos. And President Obama said that he believes the content of these memos needed to be disclosed for transparency. He believes strongly in accountability, but he also argued that withholding these memos would serve to deny facts that have been in the public domain for some time. He now says that it's time to understand what has happened and move on in a world where the U.S. does not engage in torturing people. But however, groups like Amnesty International are accusing the Obama administration of giving a so-called get-out-of-jail-free card to officials that acted in violation of international law by torturing detainees. There's also another group called the Center for Constitutional Rights. They also expressed disappointment, accusing the Obama administration of unwilling to uphold the law. But it should be noted that the U.S. Attorney General said that as long as CIA officials were acting within the bounds of these memos, they were not breaking any laws. Many are saying that he is straddling the fence because on one hand he's saying he's going to close Guantanamo Bay, but on the other hand many detailed documents are not being disclosed. And groups like Amnesty International are concerned that once Guantanamo Bay closes, any evidence that could be used to prosecute CIA officials for violating international law will essentially go up in flames. Here's a soundbite from somebody from Amnesty International.
The good news with the secret prisons is that President Obama has ordered them closed, and closed for good. We also know that those places were torture cells, and that to the extent that there is evidence there of torture that took place, those sites should be preserved so that if a prosecutor wants to prosecute and is able to prosecute people that committed crimes in those places, that evidence would be preserved.
Well, Kevin, the United Nations top torture investigator Manfred Nowak has said that it is illegal for the Barack Obama administration not to prosecute CIA officers who carried out torture sanctioned by the Bush administration. The top investigator says that the United States must try those who had been carrying out harsh interrogation techniques. And the main reason he names for that is very simple, actually. He says the United States is among the countries who have signed on to the United Nations Convention Against Torture. And it's very simple. If you've signed on to this important international document, you have to abide by it. If not, this can be seen as a breach of international law, which could have pretty negative consequences for the United States image. Now, the United Nations top torture investigator has said that the U.S. is committed and should be committed to conducting criminal investigations of torture and to bringing all those against whom there is evidence to court. Now, it's important that he says that even though some officers may claim that they were simply carrying out an order, this should not relieve them from responsibility. The top United Nations torture investigator, Manfred Nowak, has said that an independent investigation should be carried out and victims should be compensated. Now, whether or not these calls will be heard at the White House, of course, remains to be seen, but Manfred Nowak now plans to travel to Washington for a range of meetings with Washington officials.
Cecilia, how has Mr. Obama justified his comments? On one hand, he's disclosed the widely condemned tactics during the Bush era. On the other, though, he's protecting those who are engaged in it.
You're absolutely right, Kevin. Barack Obama has said that those CIA officers who were simply carrying out orders sanctioned by the Bush administration should not be prosecuted, and he has said that nothing will be gained by spending our time and energy laying blame for the past. And this was the reason, this was his justification for not wanting to prosecute these officials, and this is what caused this huge wave of criticism throughout the United States. In the media and the blogs and human rights organizations have been saying that Barack Obama, during his election campaign, promised transparency and accountability. And transparency is one of the things that he has shown when he disclosed these Bush memos to the public. However, accountability is one thing that the American public is yet to see.
And staying with the issue, Barack Obama's move to release top-secret CIA memos on torture has already been hailed by human rights groups, but some say it will make America less safe in the future. Well, for more, I'm joined live now from Washington by investigative journalist and author Wayne Madsen. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Madsen. What's behind Obama's decision to make the documents public?
Well, I think the reason President Obama decided to make these documents public at this time is we may not have seen the end of these revelations, maybe even worse interrogation techniques that were used, especially in Abu Ghraib. So I think the President was trying to get ahead of any further and much more damaging revelations that may be coming in the near future. These documents were not released in full. There were a lot of deletions, masking of information. And
Mr. Madsen, what more can you tell us about what these papers contain?
Well, they gave us a further insight into the interrogation tactics used by the CIA and the military, what they call enhanced interrogation. Now, many people call this torture light, but we know that, if, for example, we found out for the first time that there was a tactic used to bash prisoners' heads against the wall, exposing prisoners to extreme cold for long durations, and probably the most unusual tactic was to threaten prisoners with insects. Now, we're told that these were not poisonous insects or dangerous insects, but we don't know whether tarantulas or scorpions were in fact used or not.
And Barack Obama has said that no interrogators will be prosecuted. He's been criticized for this decision. Can you tell us a little bit more about that debate?
Well, President Obama said that these prisoners wouldn't be, these people who conducted these interrogations wouldn't be prosecuted. That was also, he was also joined by his chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, who said the same thing yesterday. And it's what's very surprising is Emanuel said that not even the higher-ups in the Bush administration would be prosecuted. Now, this basically puts the U.S. on the side of defending the Nuremberg defense, which was used against the Nazis at the trial in Nuremberg after World War II. And in that case, we said that following orders was no excuse. Now the administration is saying those who carried out the orders and those who gave the orders are going to get a pass. And I think it's rather sad that President Obama used Adolf Hitler's birthday to make his address today to the CIA to tell them they were getting a free pass.
And how do you think the release of these documents will actually impact on the work of the CIA? Is the U.S. likely to become less safe, for instance, now?
I don't think that there's going to be an issue with security. Actually, this should, it's not going to help us entirely to redeem ourselves in the eyes of the world, but there's a lot of people at the CIA who were very uncomfortable with the torture from the very beginning. At least one CIA contractor was fired because she voiced her opposition to the torture techniques. I've heard from other CIA personnel that they were very unhappy, but we've got 3 CIA directors, Porter Goss, before him George Tenet, and Michael Hayden, who have all come out and defended this, basically defended this activity. And Michael Hayden co-signed a letter against release of the CIA, the Justice Department documents on the torture. He co-signed that letter with former Attorney General Michael Mukasey. So it's clear that Michael Hayden is now basically on the side of the neoconservatives in the Republican Party.
Wayne Madsen in Washington, thank you very much for joining us on RT.